We're going to introduce you to the most forgiving feather today. Stick around and we'll give you the details. Welcome to Handi Quilter Watch and Learn. I'm Kim Sandberg and
I'm Kristina Whitney.
And today we're going to talk about what you like to call is the most forgiving feather, right?
It
so,
is.
Which feather is it?
Well, I don't know if it's got a technical name.
Yeah.
I've heard it referred to as the molar feather because it looks like a tooth. So that's what I'm going to call it, the molar feather.
Okay.
And it is the most forgiving feather because it can fit anywhere.
Right.
So let's take a look at this quilt behind us here.
All right, Kristina, I love this quilt. Classic double wedding ring, and you decided to quilt it with the molar feather.
I did. So
talk to me about that.
the double wedding ring is kind of an odd shape, and you've got these sections right in here that you try to get down into. And I wanted to do some feathers just because I was in the mood for it, and I wanted to play with thread, which this happens to be Magnifico from Superior Threads. So it's got that colored, really let it pop. But I wanted to do something that would fit into those points. And a traditional feather, yeah, you can do it, but I wanted it to be a little bit more whimsical and a little more playful. And so I opted to go with this molar feather.
I love this feather because, as you can see as we're moving across the quilt here, they're all the same, yet they're all different because it's just a little bit of a different, I don't know, wiggle there in the middle.
Yeah. So the way that I did it was I would start in the center. So traditionally you have spines for your feathers. This one I just did like a center spine. So it's just like a center dot there, and I traveled out from there for all of them. So I came up, reached all the way up into that point, did my little wiggle, come down, get the next one, wiggle, come down, get up into the next point. So I was counting as I was doing this, making sure that I had the feathers all going in the same area, but again, the wiggle was going to be a little different. And then with the molar feather, I also like to add this vein to it. It gives it a little bit more interest, and I just kind of have fun with it. And you'll also notice on the vein, I did not keep them all the same. Some of them are a little swoopier than others. I purposefully do not try to backtrack on those.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to stay on the same line. And with this, you can get going pretty fast. So.
Yeah. Well, I love those veins in the middle. I love how they have even a little bit of a ribbon effect, just the way that you did it. It creates a lot of fun movement on the quilt.
Here's a really good ribbon one. I went over myself 3 times.
That is perfect.
Isn't that fun?
I love it. I love it.
Extra something there.
And that pink is such a fun, happy color. I love that you chose something that contrasted on the white. So often I feel like when we're quilting on white, we feel like we have to stick with white thread.
Yeah.
It just makes this quilt feel so happy. And I love the word whimsical for this quilt. It's very appropriate with the fun pinks and greens and flowers, and I think it's great.
I'm like, it's an elegant, whimsical, playful.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like that. Elegant, whimsical, playful. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a closer look at how you make this feather. So you want to kind of talk through your process here?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to step back just a little bit, and we're going to talk about spines.
Okay.
So this is my doodle book here.
Yes.
And I drew some like half circles because I'm going to actually be quilting on this quilt here on these half circles. I wanted to put some feathers in there. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to do my spine coming across the bottom, if I wanted the spine to come up across the top, if I wanted it to come up from the middle, from the top. This one kind of goes through the center. That one's just similar to the molar one that we just saw in the double wedding ring where there's just a center point. These have multiple spines coming up. So I was trying to make that decision of what I wanted to do. And so let's go ahead and we're going to get some preview paper out, and we are going to doodle a couple different ideas and see which one we like.
I love that you're doing this right on the quilt too, so that you can really see it to scale. That's one of the advantages of using the preview paper, right?
Yes, because I can look at my doodle book and be like, ooh, that's too dense. But then when you put it on a larger scale on the quilt, it might be what you need. Okay, so the first one I want to do, I'm going to have a spine that's along the base here.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to start here, molar, molar, and I can add those veins in as I come along. And I'm always coming back down to my spine. See how I can just get a little one to fill in that last space?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so easy to fill the space. Okay, so that's the spine along the base.
Okay.
Let's do a spine that's going to come up along here
Along the
and see
top.
how that turns out.
Okay.
And this is the edge of the quilt, so I've got to make sure I leave some space for my binding. And I could even put a little guy in here. Ooh, that one got really skinny.
That's okay.
Okay.
She's a skinny tooth. It's all good.
It's a baby tooth.
There you go. Okay.
Baby teeth aren't molar.
So same type of feather there, but done in different ways with different spines.
Yep.
Okay. Like
Okay,
it.
let's try one that has just the center point as a spine.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to come out.
Now this really feels like what we just saw in the double wedding ring.
Exactly.
Same kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's actually do another one. So that's got 4. I'm wondering if I could do 5. I'm going to try to break it up. So I'm going to actually do my center one first just to break up the space and then add in 2 more.
On each side. Okay.
Again, trying to, ooh, whoa, that went really crazy.
Oh, God. Here, you want a piece of batting?
Yeah. I
Do a
don't
little
know.
correction there. This is why we draw on preview paper first before we start quilting. A lot easier to erase than to unpick, for sure.
I promise I'm not drinking on the job.
Yeah. No, you're not.
Because I don't drink. Okay, so that's the same concept, but this has 5. A lot of people really like the odd numbers.
Right.
It kind of balances things out. And again, if I was doing this, starting with that center really helps me to keep it divided, keep that balance. So which one should we do? Now remember, this is going around the entire
Yeah.
quilt.
You know what? I think I really like this one here that goes from the center and it's balanced. I feel like, especially with the piano keys here, there's a little bit of formality here, and that one feels like it's got that. I mean, it still has a little bit of that whimsy like we talked
Yeah.
about, but it feels a little bit more formal in going with the piano keys.
Love it.
So.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to veto this one.
Okay.
This one, again, I worry about the base and
Yeah.
covering up too much of it.
Yeah.
This one, I don't like the 4 as
4.
much as I like the 5.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the winner.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to make sure I've got enough preview paper here.
Woohoo.
And that's the winner. Okay, should we stitch?
Yeah, let's do some stitching.
Okay, I'm going to sit down on this one.
So tell us about the foot you've got on here.
So I have the micro foot on, and I'm not doing micro quilting, but I do want to be able to see where I'm going, and I'm not really worried too much about any seams or anything, because there are no seams in there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that micro foot.
And what kind of thread are you using?
I am using Omni, I believe.
Okay.
Yep, it's a 40 weight.
And it's in a blending color, it looks like, with the
Yeah.
background.
So it's just slightly different, but not much.
Okay.
Okay, another thing that I want to take into consideration, we mentioned it earlier, is my binding's going to cover part of this.
Right.
So I've got a basting stitch that's approximately 1/4 of an inch on this side, but I didn't give myself as much wiggle room over here. So I need to make sure that I start my feathers so that they're not going to get cut off.
Okay.
Like start up just a little bit higher. Okay, so let me check my settings. I'm on a cruise. I might up that just a little bit. 12 stitches per inch and needle in the down position. So there's my center point. Just do a little tie off. Okay, so I'm gonna just use my finger here and just kind of go through again my stitch path. See if I can not go crazy on that side. Okay, here we go. And I'm just going to travel along the base. No, not even cutting my threads. Okay. I do want to point out, as I was doing this, I'm watching where I'm heading towards and just filling in that space as I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Here we go. Now, to try to avoid getting too much thread buildup here in the center, you may or may not have noticed that I don't always come back to that center point.
Okay.
You probably saw it on the pink one where I don't have a very solid center, but that, that helps not get all of that thread buildup, because how many times am I going over that center point?
Especially with a heavier thread like Omni. Yeah, it looks really good though. And I love, once again, I mean, they're obviously the same type of feather, but they're not exactly the same feather. They have that fun little bit of whimsy, but they look a little bit more structured with the 5. I really like that. I think that that's really fun, especially next to your straight piano keys here.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit elegant looking. So I just noticed something else that we're gonna have to figure out. My corners here.
Oh wow, look at that.
I guess I could do like the one here, and then just do little ones, filling in that space. And then maybe here I could do...
Well, you could do in there like you did on the double wedding ring.
I'd almost do it the opposite way, where the point is down here, and it's going to come out and do the molar.
Do you want to stitch that out for us so we can see what you're going to do? We're going to put
How
Kristina
about
on the
preview
spot
paper?
here. Well, we could do preview paper if you want to grab that.
Oh no, we're just going to be wild and crazy and go for it.
She's going to take the challenge.
Okay, I am going to adjust my handlebars just a little bit.
Okay.
I want to have a little more control down here. I'm going to tilt this guy in. Okay, here we go. So I'm eyeballing about halfway. Okay, and then I'd have to break my thread, or I could travel. I'm going to break my thread on this one, and then come back and do the bottom one.
Okay.
And luckily there's only 4 corners on the quilt. I think the biggest thing with doing these feathers is breaking up the space and figuring out where you need to aim for the different feathers. And that one I'm just going to travel. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do this other one while we're here.
Do the really, really odd shaped.
How's that?
It looks
Get the machine out of
great.
your way.
You can see those 3 there. They look really good. And I think that's the perfect solution in that nice little melon wedgie shape that you created there in the corner. I think that looks great. So for the rest of the quilt, are you planning on, in this quilt, are you planning on incorporating any other feathers, any other of the molar feathers in here?
I'm still deciding. I'm debating. So I've got my picture here.
Okay.
So you can see on here where I was just kind of checking out the different feathers. I was thinking about maybe in this Lone Star part, doing some crazy spines coming out from the center and then adding in some feathers. Because I mean, if you look at that fabric here, look how
so
busy it is.
busy.
You're not going to see anything.
No.
So I'm still kind of debating what I want to do there. I might even do straight lines coming out and then put the feathers in. Who knows? Maybe I'll just stipple it. Just kidding. No. We'll have some fun with it. So, but that part's yet to be determined. So if there are any suggestions from our viewers of what you would like to see in that part, let us know. Maybe I'll even wait and not quilt that part for a
Finish
while, and we'll see what we can come up with. So
Okay, that's really fun.
yeah, I've got plenty more sections to work on to get this going. So
Yes, you do. It's a small quilt, but there's a lot of quilting that's going to go into this. And it's,
Yep.
it's such a fun, this is such a fun classic design, the classic Lone Star, such a fun quilt pattern to quilt with because there's just a lot of different ways you can do this.
yep. And just a little teaser here.
Yeah.
We might have some fun with Lone Star quilts next year.
Yes.
So just keep your eye out.
Yeah. We've both been collecting a few. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you had fun learning about the most forgiving feather. If you'd like to have one of your quilts featured at the end of the video, don't forget to tag us in one of your social media posts. Use that @Handi Quilter. Thanks for watching. Give us a like and subscribe, and have fun quilting.